Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Her Excellency Ambassador of Pakistan, Madam Amina Baloch Sahiba, Mr. Jahangir Siddiqui Sahib, Chairman Endowment Fund Trust for the Preservation of Heritage of Sindh, and members of the board, Mr. Hamid Harun Sahib and Hamid Akhund Sahib, and Professor Dr. Nilofar Sheikh Sahiba, Chairperson, Center for the Documentation and Conservation of Heritage of Sindh at Hyderabad. Foreign respected, distinguished foreign diplomats, my respected colleagues and researchers in archaeology, university professors and students, and lovers of art, architecture of Sindh and Pakistan. Respected ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. My sincere apologies for my inability to be present on this historic occasion of launching of my book on Antiquities of Banbhore, published by the Endowment Fund Trust for the Preservation of Heritage of Sindh, EFT. I am thankful for having an opportunity to speak on Banbhore briefly this evening. The publication on the Antiquities of Sindh as Antiquities of Banbhore is only a part of my research that has so far been done on various categories of antiquities, in which very limited evidence was utilized based on pottery that was used to strengthen the cultural chronology of Banbhore that was constructed on the basis of coins, inscriptions, and stratigraphic evidence. In fact, the ceramics of Banbhore discovered between 1958 and 65 constitute an enormous amount of very significant historical and artistic data which needs to be published in details, just like the book on antiquities. My impression is that the ceramics of Banbhore can be grouped into at least 21 major categories, among which the glazed and Chinese wares stand out for their historical, artistic, and importantly, international importance. A preliminary study of ceramics demonstrates that the port city of Banbhore remained for a long time with the ports of East and Southeast Asia, the Gulf region, West Asia, and even East Africa. I must seek your permission to illustrate just a few specimens of pottery found at Banbhore and other regions for comparisons. I have selected only 4 types. First, the turquoise glazed, or what is called alkaline glazed pottery, which is a blue and green color because of the mixture of copper and other oxides you see in the clay. It usually represents large vessels and handled jugs and small bowls. It is found in the context of 9th to 10th century levels at Banbhore and have precise parallels with those identical material found in Syria, Iraq, Egypt, Central Asia, Bahrain, and even East Africa. It's amazing. And its use continued for a considerable length of time. Recently, it has been found in Indonesia, which was a surprising fact, and in the UAE and even Sri Lanka, the materials which you see I had chance to see in the museum. The second group I have picked, which is, because of its significance of international trade or context, is called the graffiato ware, which has incised lines or designs with incisions and painted over with glaze with different colors. It's usually found in the form of bowls and flat plates. It was extremely rare, you see, in Pakistan, and seems that it was valued for its you see, beauty and its use, because it is found with holes along the cracks as if they were mended in ancient times to keep it together and as a souvenir. Now this graffiato is also widely found at Banbhore, is widely distributed and has been discovered in the excavations carried out in Iran at the site of Ray, Nishapur and Kashan. Also in Syria and Iraq, and it's called the Raqqa and Blue Raqqa site. Some specimens were found in Fustat, which is ancient Egypt, and was found now being discovered in the Gulf countries, you see, in East Africa and Southeast Asia, indicating a wide-ranging context of Banbhore and the distribution of identical ceramic and artistic material over a wide area, as if to constitute a very large cultural area. The third group I have chosen to draw your kind attention, ladies and gentlemen, is the luster glazed pottery belonging to the 8th or 9th century of the Christian era. Luster is produced by applying metallic and other material like copper and silver, and shines like when glazed, when fired in kilns, it gives brilliant color of golden color, and it's a very attractive and beautiful pottery, especially the painting done in the bowls and other smaller vessels. It was highly prized and was produced in the kilns of Iran, which is the northern part of Kashan, Ray, in Iraq at Samarra, a site which is now completely destroyed in recent years, and also in Basra. It was found in Egypt, ancient Egypt, that's the ancient name is Fustat, as I just mentioned, Syria, and as far west as Spain. Now, with this pottery, this all belongs to the 8th to 9th to 10th centuries and even 11th centuries. The one I was very much struck by the occurrence or the discovery of a very characteristic plain pottery but burnished with a burnished surface of red color, now called in the archaeological literature as the burnished or the red polished ware. Number of articles have been published, and we have access now to the materials published in other regions. And this was actually originally was discovered in Texla, and at Banbhore was found in the early levels called the Scytho-Parthian level of the 1st century BC to 2nd century AD. Now, this is a very distinctive ware and variously called also Samian and other kind of pottery, and associated with the Roman trade. Banbhore was also a port city, was established much earlier than of the Debal. Debal was actually the continuation of that, you see, the early city, and dealing with the long distance trade. So from the early level of Banbhore, discovery of this pottery shows that it was connected at that time, even in the beginning of the common era or the Christian era, you see, with other regions along, you see, in the Indian Ocean territories in the sites, and the other regions like you see as far west as northern Africa. Now, it has been reported now with the excavations at Siraf, a site excavated by the British archaeologist in southern Iran, on the coast of Iran in the Gulf, and also originally it was found from where the name was derived from the western coast, southern western coast of India, a site called Akramedo, excavated by Sir Mortimer Wheeler. And also, now I was very much surprised when I visited the National Museum of Sri Lanka, and exactly the same type of pottery as which was found also in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has, you see, has been always, you see, a great has a site called Manthai, and which served as a really entrepot and an exchange of materials from east to west, the ship moved from east to west. And nearby was found also certain shipwrecks from where loaded pottery from Iran, from China, other places were found. Now, this pottery also is not only confined to the Indian Ocean, you see, on the western coast of India, but also now we have evidence all along the Gulf and in the countries like Syria, Oman, Egypt, Fustat, other places like Fustat. Now, it continued to remain in use for until the 5th century of the Christian era. And then it was taken over by the Sasanian, when the trade was taken over by the Sasanian, and then by the Arabs in the Indian Ocean at that time. Now, this is a very diagnostic type of pottery, and dated, you see, by comparison, you see, with other sites, and found from it was a great discovery to find it at the earliest level of Banbhore. So now, with this pottery, I have picked only three or four type of pottery, just to draw your kind attention to the importance of Banbhore and the further importance of doing further study on the ceramics of Banbhore, which is lying in the museum and in the reserve collections. With this pottery, the excavations, we find pottery coming from China. Was also found along with this pottery and dated to the 8th century, from 8th century to the 12th century of the Christian era. And we have three principal types of Chinese pottery coming in at Banbhore, and it's displayed in the museum also. And that is we have from the kilns, actually with the inscribed names of the kilns inscribed on it, if I can pronounce the Chinese name, Jindojan and Chandojan. There's two kilns, Longchuan, you see, area. And we have porcelain, and we have a celadon, or called the hard stoneware, painted tongueware. That was the Chinese pottery reached the, you see, in the Muslim world during the Tang pottery during the 8th century of the Christian era, and then we find it distributed all along the coast and other many regions. It has been excavated also in Oman, and then from a French archaeologist, Monique Evran, who also worked in Bahrain and also in the delta area of Sindh, you see, discovered later Chinese pottery along with the later ceramics called the, you see, China blue pot. Along with the study of pottery, there is a need to, you see, engage students and teachers, professors from the academia, from different institutions, not only for training, but also for contributing, for writing thesis books and various aspects of Banbhore, ceramics and other materials which are available. And I hope it will be possible to organize a regular program of training, teaching, and seminars through formally at different places. There's an urgent need to start a training program which will take 2 or 3 years before people start working on different aspects of the early archaeology and culture of Sindh. With these remarks, I want to thank you once again for giving me an opportunity to speak to you, although from a distance, and all the best. Thank you so much indeed, and sorry once again that I am not personally present at the meeting. Thank you very much.